Vanessa Clark stood by the espresso machine in the Summit Wealth Bank Executive Lounge. Her navy suit was perfectly tailored, her heels steady like a commander ready for battle. Her face looked calm, but her eyes swept across the room with sharp focus. Every glance, every whisper, every movement meant something here, and Vanessa noticed it all. Beside her, Keith Morris gripped his briefcase, sweat forming on his forehead. A few steps back, Calvin Holt shifted uncomfortably, sensing the rising tension in the room. Near the concierge desk, 3 employees, Lisa Wells, Natalie Newman, and Robert Clean, huddled together. They kept glancing between Vanessa and the security tablet, replaying footage from earlier. Just 20 minutes ago, Vanessa had made an unusual request. She wanted to withdraw $5 million in cash from her personal account. Not a wire transfer, not a check, actual cash. The request sent a silent ripple of shock through the marble-lined bank. Lisa's polite smile quickly turned cold. "I'm sorry, Ms. Clark, but that amount requires verification. In your account, she didn't finish her sentence, but her eyes said it clearly. You don't belong here." Vanessa had handed over her ID, business registration, and ownership documents, every legal paper proving exactly who she was. Still, Natalie had smirked. "Maybe she borrowed Vanessa Clark's name," she whispered to Robert. "Or maybe it's Photoshop." Robert stayed mostly quiet, looking uneasy, glancing between his coworkers and the entrance. Silence, he knew, was safer. Vanessa said nothing. She simply stored their words in her mind like evidence. Then Keith's patience broke. His voice cut through the polished air. "You're refusing the CEO of Summit Enterprises her own money? Are you out of your mind?" Lisa's jaw tightened. "This isn't personal, sir. It's protocol." "No," Calvin muttered. "It's prejudice." Lisa's tone sharpened. "You people always make it about." Vanessa's voice turned to ice. "Because it is. I've watched you approve huge transactions for men in sweatpants who couldn't even spell fiduciary. Yet here I am, in my own bank, treated like a criminal." The room went still. Then the glass door slid open. A tall, authoritative man entered. Jonathan Marks, Director of Internal Compliance, flanked by 2 aides holding tablets. Lisa hurried toward him. "Mr. Marks, we were—" He lifted a hand. "Following protocol? Good. Then you'll understand when I say Protocol 6 has been activated." Natalie's face drained of color. Protocol 6 meant legal review and disciplinary hearings. Jonathan turned to Vanessa. "Ms. Clark, on behalf of Summit Wealth Bank, I apologize. Headquarters sent me here personally." "I thought they might," Vanessa said quietly. Facing the staff, Jonathan continued. "Ms. Clark's identity and ownership records are valid. This transaction is completely within her rights." Robert let out a quiet sigh of relief. Lisa's jaw tightened. "But your conduct," Jonathan went on, "is under review, bias, misconduct, and obstruction. We have audio logs, chat messages, and security footage." One aide turned their tablet to show internal staff texts mocking Vanessa and questioning her legitimacy. Keith raised his phone. "Mind if I record this?" Vanessa didn't look at him. "Not yet. Let them keep talking." Jonathan's voice hardened. "Ms. Newman, Ms. Wells, you're suspended immediately. Mr. Clean, HR will contact you." Security stepped forward. Lisa shot Vanessa a final glare. "You think this changes the world?" "No," Vanessa replied calmly, "but it changes you." Just then, Jonathan's phone buzzed. His face darkened. "What now?" Vanessa asked. "Another incident," he said slowly. "In London, the board marked you absent during a key vote. I wasn't even told about it," Vanessa said sharply. "Exactly. Your credentials were bypassed. Your vote was reassigned." Vanessa's eyes narrowed. This wasn't a glitch. "No," Jonathan agreed. "It looks deliberate." "Start a full audit," she ordered. "I want access logs from every executive team in Europe. Calendar entries, metadata, communications, everything." Jonathan hesitated. "Ms. Clark, if this is what it appears to be—" "It is," she cut in. "I want names. Now." He nodded firmly. "Protocol 7. Vanessa met his gaze. No words were needed. Keith leaned in. You think this goes deeper? Vanessa's lips pressed into a thin line. They tried to erase me from a board I built. Someone had to prove that. Her phone vibrated. Unknown number. No caller ID. She answered the call. A low, steady voice crackled through the line. You were never supposed to get this far, Vanessa. She froze. Who is this? The line went dead. She stared at her screen, then looked up, her once calm eyes now burning. Jonathan, she said, bring me everything, and tell London I'm on the next flight. He hesitated. And the cash withdrawal? Vanessa's smile turned sharp. Let them keep it. For now. She turned toward the window, the city skyline glittering beyond the glass. Somewhere out there, someone had started a war, and Vanessa Clark was ready. The air in the room felt charged. For a moment, no one moved. The only sound was the faint hum of the espresso machine and the slow beat of someone's heart. Then Vanessa stood taller, no longer quiet, no longer calculating. The problem, she said, her voice slicing through the silence, isn't that you didn't know who I was. The problem is how you treated someone you thought didn't matter. Lisa Wells faltered, stepping back half a pace. This isn't how we do things. Vanessa lifted a hand, cutting her off. This is exactly how you've always done things. Unwritten rules, selective procedures, enough deniability to hide cruelty behind policy. Natalie still gripped the landline, but couldn't get a word out. Robert stepped forward, gently taking the phone from her hand and setting it back on its cradle. This ends now, he said. Tyler Moss, the same man who had tried to force Vanessa out earlier, stood frozen. His eyes flicked to Lisa, then to the small circle forming around Vanessa, then down to his own Summit Wealth badge. Ma'am, he said quietly, I didn't know. Vanessa's gaze didn't soften. You don't have to know to treat someone with dignity. A notification beeped on her tablet. Carla Evans' voice came through, steady. Vanessa, external press alert. Someone leaked the footage. It's climbing on local and some national outlets. We're trending. Vanessa took a breath, then looked around the people in the room. Maya, still teary-eyed but standing strong. Calvin, who had defended her without knowing her title. Keith, gripping his phone, caught between relief and disbelief. Strangers frozen mid-clap or standing in stunned silence. To everyone here, Vanessa began, I wasn't testing you. I came to complete a simple task. But your reaction turned it into a reckoning. Lisa's voice was sharp. You think you're righteous? That this will last? Vanessa stepped closer. I know it will. Because some people in this room, people you ignored, chose truth over loyalty, justice over habit. Robert's tone was firmer now. Lisa, I'm filing a report. You abused policy, misled staff, and escalated without cause. Same goes for Natalie. Natalie's face drained of color. You're choosing her over us? Calvin turned to her. No, he's choosing right over wrong. Something you stopped doing a long time ago. A new voice entered the room. Tobias Green, Summit's chief legal officer, strode to the double doors, his expression unreadable. Vanessa. He nodded. She nodded back. You have the audit logs? He lifted a folder. We do. And HR is on the way. Lisa scoffed. This is absurd. She walks in here and turns everything upside down. No, Tobias said calmly. She owns the building, the systems, the accounts. What absurd is that you didn't recognize the person whose name is printed on half your onboarding paperwork. Gasps rippled through the room. Even Edward Pierce went silent, slipping his platinum business card back into his pocket. He finally understood he wasn't a priority here. He was a liability. Vanessa faced the room once more. Let this be a reminder. Power isn't in money. It's in what you do when you think no one is watching. That's what shows who you are. Keith murmured, she's right. Maya nodded beside him. Protocol 6 stays in place. Vanessa continued. This branch will have an immediate compliance review. Lisa, Natalie, Edward, your access is revoked. Tyler, you'll cooperate with legal to review your security actions. No one argued as Lisa moved toward the door, Tobias walking beside her. She hissed, "You'll regret this, Clark." "I only regret not doing it sooner," Vanessa replied. Through the tall windows, reporters gathered, cameras flashing, questions ready. But Vanessa didn't rush. She crossed the room to Maya and took her hand. "You reminded me why I started this company." Maya blinked. "Me?" "You and every woman who sits down, speaks up, and refuses to disappear." A young black couple, who had been silently watching, stepped forward. The man extended his hand. "Ms. Clark, thank you. You made us feel seen." Vanessa smiled, not as a CEO, not as a leader, but as a woman who had carried silence too long. "It's time people like us aren't just seen, we're heard." Calvin chuckled. "Well, they're listening now." Vanessa looked around the room one last time. The air was different now. Fear gone, pretenses broken, truth standing in its place. She stepped toward the exit. No more hiding, not for any of us. And she walked out, not as someone reclaiming her place, but as someone who had redefined it,